Welcome to the second segment of the CPA Mentor Orientation. After having completed the first segment, you know what it takes to get prepared for your mentoring relationship and are ready to understand what it takes to establish your relationship. Please remember that you will need to complete all 5 of the segments of the orientation sequentially. Together, the 5 segments will help you understand what is involved in mentoring a future CPA. You'll recall the CPA mentorship framework we previously presented to you. In this segment, we'll focus on the launch phase, during which you and the future CPA will establish your mentoring relationship at your first meeting. At the first meeting with the future CPA, you will need to do 3 things to establish the relationship. First, you will need to get to know each other. Second, you will need to understand where you're headed in your mentoring relationship. And third, you will want to set the parameters for how you will work together. The primary focus of the first meeting is to get to know each other. If you work at the same organization as the future CPA and/or already have an established relationship, you will not need to spend as much time getting to know each other. For others, this might take 2 to 3 meetings over the first 6 months of the relationship. To get to know each other, we recommend that you complete a couple of exercises that will help to establish rapport and begin to build trust at your first meeting. We have developed 5 suggested exercises from which you might want to choose a couple. The 70-20-10 model of development, the Get to Know You exercise, the Values Exploration exercise, the Lifeline exercise, and the Exploring Enabling Competencies exercise. You do not have to complete all of them at the first meeting, as you will continue to get to know each other and build trust over the course of your relationship, particularly in the first few months. You can find worksheets for each of these exercises in the Center for Mentoring Resources. You and the future CPA will need to have an understanding of where your mentorship relationship is headed. So, during the first meeting, you and the future CPA will draft a learning plan. The learning plan identifies areas on which the future CPA wishes to focus and also highlights the areas in which there is an anticipated need for mentoring. Essentially, the learning plan takes into account the future CPA's development to date, identifies gaps in competency proficiency, and also identifies how you, the mentor, can support the future CPA's ongoing development. The 2 of you can use the CPA Enabling Competencies and Code of Professional Conduct as a starting point. For future CPAs working in pre-approved programs, a customized competency map outlining potential competencies that can be developed in the future CPA's specific program is available in the Online Practical Experience Reporting Tool, or PERT. We'll talk more about the PERT in Segment 4 of this orientation. Note that future CPAs might come to you with varying degrees of experience. Recent graduates might take longer to develop some of the enabling competencies, while future CPAs who have already spent some time in the workplace might take less time. Similarly, some future CPAs might be working in environments that make it difficult for them to continue to progress in their competency development. The particulars of each situation need to be taken into account when drafting a learning plan. A learning plan worksheet is available to you in the Center for Mentoring Resources. After completing a couple of rapport-building exercises and beginning to develop a learning plan, at the first meeting, you will also need to set the parameters for how you will work together. Creating a mentoring agreement is a good idea. A mentoring agreement outlines how you and the future CPA will structure and manage your relationship. As part of developing a mentoring agreement, you and the future CPA should discuss the expectations that you have of each other, including clarifying your roles and responsibilities and agreeing on meeting logistics. In other words, where, when, and how you will meet. You and the future CPA should also establish the guidelines and principles of your relationship, particularly relating to confidentiality and your learning and communication styles and how you manage conflict. Some people need to experiment to learn. Others like to listen. Some people are direct, while others are more reserved. Understanding each other's styles will help to build trust and confidence in the relationship. You may also want to discuss how you will track your progress and how you would like to wrap up the relationship. Taking the time to discuss your mutual needs and agree upon a general approach up front is a precursor to a successful relationship. A mentoring agreement worksheet is available to you in the Center for Mentoring Resources. Finally, when setting the parameters of your relationship, you and the future CPA should set a schedule for your mentoring meetings over the next 12 months. With the schedule set in advance, you are more likely to hold each other accountable and stick to the schedule. We have shared numerous resources with you in this segment of the Mentor Orientation, including 5 potential relationship building exercises, a learning plan worksheet, and a mentoring agreement worksheet. We have also developed an optional webinar for mentors that, on a more in-depth basis, outlines what you can do to successfully establish and launch your mentoring relationship. All of these resources are available to you in the Center for Mentoring Resources. You're almost finished the second segment of the Mentor Orientation. Let's walk through an exercise to assist you in understanding some of the content we've just covered. Which of the following represent actions you might take at the first meeting with the future CPA? A. Complete rapport building exercises. B. Develop a learning plan. C. Create a mentoring agreement. D. Set a 12-month schedule. E. All of the above. Since A through D individually represent things you might do at the first meeting, the correct answer is E, all of the above. Any of these actions would help you and the future CPA to establish your relationship. Now that you know how to establish your mentoring relationship during your first meeting with the future CPA, you are ready to proceed to the third segment of the orientation, entitled 3 Steps to Building the Relationship.